Joining us now, CBS News legal analyst Jack Ford and Bonnie Fuller, president and editor-in-chief of HollywoodLife.com. Good to have both of you with us. Jack, first of all, she clearly doesn't have any money right now because she had been in jail for a number of years.
Right.
Hadn't been earning money or not significant money at that point. And yet she's got now this judgment, $100,000 that she has to pay.
You know, it's an interesting statute that Florida has, and it's not often used, apparently, but it gives a court the ability to say if somebody's convicted of a crime and there are costs that we can allocate to that crime, it gives the court the ability to say, you know what, you're going to pay for it. But here, obviously, the big question was, well, how do you work out those numbers? How do you decide what numbers that she's involved with? And, you know, the judge was sort of Solomon-esque about this because the government, the prosecution was looking for about $500,000 for this. And the defense was saying, no, that's way too much. She should only be required to pay back that portion that can be directly related to what she was convicted of, is telling the lies, not the investigation into the death. And the judge came in and said, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and work these numbers out a little bit, and came up with something a little bit short of $100,000, saying that's the best estimate he can put into play here for what reflects what she was convicted of.
What if she can't pay the money?
Now, that's a good question. You know, we don't have debtors' prisons anymore, all right, and this is considered, a part of a sentence. But now the statute says you're supposed to set up basically a payment plan, and they're going to work that out here. If she doesn't have money right away, I'm sure they're going to say, fine, this is in place, this is going to follow you. We get a judgment against you that can follow you for 20 years down the road. So they'll keep an eye on if she does make any money, if anything comes along, and if she does, you can assume they're going to step right in and say, fine, that's good, here's our piece.
So we want to talk about what she could potentially earn. I want to send that to you, Bonnie, but real quickly, I just need you to give me a yes or no, Jack. Can she earn money from her story?
She can.
She can. So she can be paid for this story. So Bonnie, how much would this story go for, and would it be sort of tainted? People are curious, but at the same time, does any network or any company want to be the people who paid Casey Anthony?
It's a tricky situation. Millions and millions of people followed this case. They were obsessed with it. There's a huge amount of interest. For that reason, I believe there will be bidding for her interview. However, I don't think she'll get top dollar. I think she'll probably get about a couple $100,000 in some way where they'll work something out. And then the question is, can she sell a story about her life and what happened? Can she get involved in a book deal? I think she'd have a hard time with a book publishing company offering her $1 million for a book. But could she get a percentage if she cooperated with an author who did the book?
So that would be more likely a scenario that we would see.
Jack, is this something like, with O.J. Simpson back in the day when he basically had to sell off everything, including his Heisman Trophy, in order to pay back the Goldman family? Any type of money that Casey gets?
Yeah, I mean, if she gets a job, let's say she gets a job and she's making whatever a weekly salary is, they can step in and say, well, we're going to take a piece of that the same way you can do for any debtor. If you or I own something for child support, exactly.
Taxes.
Court is saying you owe us that, we'll work with you. The court's going to work with her to get it back. It could take a long time.
Real quickly, how soon, though, do you think, Bonnie, we could see this interview? We could see this deal for Casey's story?
I think it could take up to a year because, again, there's this taint about her. So I think she needs to be very quiet. She needs to be like the church lady, very sober. She needs to look like she's grieving. She needs to look serious, I think. And then I think it's more possible for her to entertain offers and people to make the offers.
Fascinating stuff. Good to have both of you with us. Bonnie Fuller,
Thank you.
Jack Ford. Thanks, guys.